What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am here to bring you all my review of the finale of Tales of Zestiria the X Cour 1. That is right, we are at the final episode of Tales of Zestiria the X. Now, this is going to be, once again, I say this every review, if you're abiding to the chronological order, this is episode 12 of Tales of Zestiria the X. However, I've been doing reviews for this series in the release order, so this is actually technically episode 13, but just keep in mind, in the chronological order, this is actually episode 12. Nonetheless, let's get started with the review. Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest with you. This final episode of Tales of Zestiria, I was half and half on, to be quite frank with you. I liked some parts, but other parts I questioned as to why exactly they changed some things up and how certain scenes were played out. Because the scenes that they technically changed were actually big plot elements from the game. Now, I'll be straight up with you, I got really hyped up from last week's episode of Tales of Zestiria, as, you know, it was hinting at that we would see the battle between the Lord of Calamity and Saray, you know, go all out. And that fight in the game is so freaking cool. Now, we reached this week's episode, and they didn't really fight at all. They pretty much just did a few clashes here and there that only lasted like a few seconds, and then bam, the Lord of Calamity left. I'm like, what? What? This was like the biggest battle before the end battle of the game. Like, this technically is the halfway point of the series, and the halfway point of the game has this awesome battle with the Lord of Calamity, in which Saray nearly dies. That is right, he nearly dies in this battle. In the anime, they just did a few clashes and skipped it, and Saray is alright. Just in my personal opinion, I think that this fight could have lasted a whole lot longer, and it was rightly deserved to last, you know, a whole lot longer. You know, I know they're trying to cram in as much story as possible. I mean, this is a 120-hour game that you are planning here if you are, you know, if you want to complete the whole series, but if you're just abiding to the story, this is technically a 30 to 35-hour game, but still, the execution when it came to the fight with the Lord of Calamity versus Saray, that just could have been handled a whole lot better. But now let's talk about Alicia. Now, I like Alicia. I'm all for her. I'm all for Alicia. Alicia is one of the coolest characters, I would say, in Tales of Zestiria. And honestly, she has become a very interesting character in the anime. The anime is doing a good job, actually, you know, implementing more to her character and making her more relevant to the story in the anime. Because in the game, she only appeared for like the first few hours of the game, and then technically she was just thrown to the side and Rose took her place. Now, when it comes to the anime, the roles are technically, it almost seems as they are reversed, because now Alicia is taking priority while it seems like Rose might be leaving for some point in time. Which we don't really know, because it seems like Alicia is now joining the Seraphim group, okay? And in the game, Rose technically becomes a Seraphim user. She's able to see the remaining of Saray's Seraphim, and she becomes one with, you know, the combination arts. I forget what the exact naming of that is, but basically, long story short, the roles are reversed, and we see a beautiful scene, I will admit. There was a beautiful scene that played out with Alicia and Saray, and then Saray tells Alicia that he wants her to be his squire, and they go through the ritual to actually, you know, partake in this some sort of ceremony into which he can now see the Seraphim and become one of his followers. And it's just very weird to see Alicia as Soray's squire, and that, we're gonna see her actually combine powers with Saray into whichever element, she is technically going to go about. But, it's just very odd because, this whole switch up between the characters, it just gets you thinking, like, will it work, Because Rose was technically the person to become Saray's squire and to take on this role, and it worked out pretty well. And when it comes to Alicia, while yes, she is a good character and probably one of the few characters that actually Saray actually trusts, because honestly, he trusts Alicia more than he does Rose, but at the same time, like, will this work in the anime? Could it ruin it just by the roles that are being reversed? I'm not really sure. So far, Ufotable is doing a pretty good job with Tales of Zestiria the X. I'm personally liking it. Sure, they are changing up a few scenes, but when it comes to this particular plot point, I'm very questionable as to, how far it will work into the series. But like I said, the series isn't over quite yet. We still have half of the series left of Tales of Zestiria. I believe we have like maybe 12 or 13 episodes left of the series, which will come around in next year from what I have heard. Maybe sometime next year we're actually getting Cour 2 of Tales of Zestiria the X. So with this episode, it actually ends Cour 1. So there's still a lot more of Tales to go around. But yes, there was that cool looking scene that we see in, pretty much the ending of this episode, into which Saray, it looks like he is being consumed by malevolence, as there is a Hellion that appears right in front of him that threatens Alicia. And it was pretty funny because I was watching this with Blade Ninja, and Blade goes like, Saray is acting this way. He's turning evil because the Hellion threatened Alicia, and I'm just like laughing my ass off. I'm like, no, there's more to it, There's malevolence coming from the Hellion, and I'm pretty sure the malevolence is also trying to consume Saray, because as we know, the Shepherd's burden is, quite frankly, like, it's a win or loss thing, If he is consumed by malevolence, it could pretty much be, the fall of humanity, pretty much, because if the Shepherd loses, his humanity and is consumed by malevolence, then there is pretty much no hope in the world to go about, because the Shepherd is supposed to save the world. And here we see in this episode that there is just a little brink of despair that is going about in, Saray's character, as it slowly seems like he is slowly starting to let the malevolence take control over him. So there is something to look forward to regarding that. Now, that pretty much wraps up the whole episode as to, like, my overall thoughts. I pretty much said what is going about. The war is technically almost over. I guess it's technically over already, as we see that the troops are pretty much on the battlefield. They are worn out, they are tired, and Saray obviously purified the majority of them. So pretty much at this point in time, the war is over, and it seems like Alicia is now going to be a fellow companion of Saray's team as a Seraphim user. Now, what I want to ask you guys is that I've played Tales of Zestiria the X. Now, I'm technically at the halfway point of this game right here, okay? And in the anime, this is technically the halfway point of the series. Now, I have gone a little bit farther in the game, but what I want to ask you guys is, would you like to see, some streams of Tales of Zestiria? Because I believe I can actually stream PS4 games to YouTube, and you guys can check that out if you want to. But I really want to just know if you guys would be interested in that at all. I still know I have to get the Steins Gate LPs out. I'm going to try to get some of those out. But if you would like to see maybe streams of Tales of Zestiria, then let me know, because technically at this point, that where we are in the anime is where I stopped in the game. Of course, pretty much the only thing that I got further along on in the game is that Rose technically took Alicia's place. Like, Rose is technically Soray's squire, and I'm about to leave the ruins, so hopefully some of you who have played the game know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just let me know if you would like for me to play the game. So yeah, guys, that about does it for this review of Tales of Zestiria. Let me know in the comments down below on what you thought about this episode, and of course, what did you think about this adaptation of Tales of Zestiria? What did you think about Cour 1? I'm very curious to hear your overall thoughts. I think I would rate maybe Cour 1 of Tales of Zestiria maybe like an 8. Because like I like the animation, I like the game. I'm a pretty big fan of the game. The game is actually pretty fun to play. The adaptation, it was good. It was good. It was just, you know, certain things were play out, but knowing that coming in to the adaptation, you know, it's not like I'm, you know, gonna get too mad at it, because they technically told us that it is going to be anime original for some scenes, you know. So certain things are played out differently compared to in the game, but it all boils down to, can they make it work? And so far they have made it work, but we're just gonna have to wait and see later down the line once we see from Cour 2 of Tales of Zestiria. But yeah, that's my overall thoughts about the adaptation. Let me know your comments, and of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It always helps out the channel. And if you want to stick up to date to my future content on this channel and see more anime and manga reviews from me, or, you know, just maybe put any recommendations that you have in mind that you would like to see from me, and I will try to get to them as best I can. No guarantees, but if you would like to leave me some recommendations as well for videos that you would like to see, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you want to stay up to date to my future content, hit that red subscribe button below, and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys. Love you all. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.